Today we're going to run through how to assemble a cropper hopper. It's a bit of a miserable day outside, so this is a job that I can do undercover, and by the end of it you'll know how to make one too. So a cropper hopper is made up of 7 main components. So we've got the base component, then we've got this component here which we describe as the crown for the wall, and then we've got this component here which is the lid which sits on top of the crown. So here we've got the base, and inside the funnel of the base we've got this box which contains the bits and pieces that you need to assemble the cropper hopper. Everything you need to put it together is inside this box. So inside this little box you'll find the silicon, tubes of silicon, which there'll be three tubes of silicon inside the box, and there will be nozzles, 3 nozzles, and then there will be a bag with all the fasteners that you need to put the cropper hopper together. Now the bag is divided into 2 components. There is the base and the walls and top. For the base fasteners we've got some bolts and washers. Now you'll note when you open the packet that we've got 2 different length fasteners. So both M10 thread. One of them's 30mm in length, the other one is 50. And there is a washer there for each bolt. Now the cropper hopper base is supplied fully assembled. So to show you underneath, we've got steel fork pockets, 6 of them, which are pre-installed into the base of the cropper hopper. That gives it the strength for when you're lifting, and it also stops the cropper hopper jumping off the tines when you're travelling along a uneven track. The hatch is already assembled or put in place. It's just a simple plastic, 10mm plastic high density polyethylene slide which is assembled and put in place, and there is a cover which has been pre-screwed and silicon down over the hatch plate. So there's no more to do with the base except to put the boards on and continue building your cropper hopper. Now the cropper hopper really is simple to put together. Here I've got 4 common tools that most people would have at their disposal. Firstly, we've got a cordless drill with a 12mm drill bit in it. I've got what we call a rattler or a cordless impact wrench with a 17mm socket. I have got a ring spanner, a 17mm ring spanner, and I've got a caulking gun, silicon caulking gun. That's all you need to put together the cropper hopper. The cropper hopper can be assembled without a ladder, although you'll find that it's probably easier if you've got a step ladder at your disposal to help you climb inside when it comes to sealing the bin up. Now comes the fun part, putting the bin together. We'll take a wall section and we'll bring it round and we'll sit it onto the base moulding. Okay, like that. You'll notice that it fits in nicely between this retainer and the wall, and then you've got a brass insert which is cast into the wall of the bin, which is what you pick up when you thread your bolt in. That's what holds the boards to the base of the cropper hopper. We'll run a couple of bolts in, just finger tight for the time being. So we're going to start with the middle one, which is a 30mm bolt. He's just going to wind that bolt in just enough to locate it, finger tight. So this one sits in here the same as the last one does, down into that retainer groove, and then it overlaps the board we've just put in. So it overlaps here, and then we'll use the 50mm bolt that he's got to go through 2 layers of board. Okay, so that's got our board panels loosely attached to the base. We're just going to go around and nip them up, not tight, not over tight, but just tight enough to know that it's held good and secure. Now the next step is to put the crown moulding on top of the walls. This will position the walls in their right place so that we can then go through and do our vertical fastenings and the fastenings around the top of the wall, which holds the whole bin together. Now, it's important to note that there is a right way round to install the crown. That is so that these little shoulders here are in line with the fork pockets on the base, and this bolt here, which has already been pre-installed, is on the side of the bin, not on the face of the bin where the hatch plate is. Okay, now that we've got the wall crown successfully sitting down nice and tight on the top of the walls of the bin, we're going to go around with our drill, our 12mm drill, and drill through these holes through the top of the wall, of the boards, and we're going to insert the bolts through the top and do it up nice and tight so it's all pinned together. Then we will go through and drill our vertical holes and pin the walls together down the vertical face. As was the case with the base fasteners, there's two different lengths of bolts in the package for the walls and the top. We've got a 75mm bolt and a 50mm bolt. Not to be confused when we go to put them together. We'll explain which one belongs where. In the board where it's a single depth, that is where the board doesn't overlap, so on the middle and this edge hole, we're going to use the 50mm bolt and washer. So we insert that through from the outside like so. And it's good to do this as you go around, because as you're holding the top down, you're drilling, then you put your bolts in, and that makes sure that it can't pop up again as you work your way around the top of the bin. I'm going to drill that one through 2 thicknesses of board, and then I put a long bolt through that one. Okay, with the bolts all now in place, I'm going to pop this ladder up and I'm going to jump up and put a nut and a washer on the inside of the bin. And I'm just going to thread them on finger tight. Now while I'm up here, I'll grab my impact wrench and the spanner, and I'll just go around and nip these up. Pull them up till you can feel that they're starting to go good and tight on the nylock nut on the back. With that now done, with all the bolts in around the top, nice and firm and tight, we can then go through and do our vertical join, which is simply just a case again of taking the drill and running it through the pre-drilled hole into the board behind. Now at this point, you can sign your willing friend, cropper hopper assembly friend, to the inside of the cropper hopper while you stay outside and poke the bolts through and tighten them up. Okay, so I'm going to take the washers that are here and the nuts, and I'm going to pass them inside. And he's going to need a 17mm ring spanner on the inside to hold the nut while we tighten it up. Now I'm going to take a set of bolts and start feeding them through from the outside. I'll hold the head while he threads the nut and washer on the back. Okay, now we've got the bolts all through the wall and the nuts and washers on the back in place. I'm going to go through from the outside with the impact wrench and just nip these up while my friend inside holds the spanner on the nylock nut on the back of the bolt. Now we've got the fasteners all done up good and tight, it's time to head inside the bin and just run a little bead of silicone around the inside to seal it up. The bin is fairly watertight without sealing, but we figure better off safe than sorry. So we're going to tip the bin on its side and just jump inside with the silicone and a corking gun and run a bead of silicone around the inside of the hopper to make sure that it's all good and watertight. Today we're using an HB Fuller all-purpose silicon. What we use does vary from time to time, but you can be sure that whatever we include in your package is the best for the job that we can get our hands on. Off the canister, and take a nozzle, pop it on. And I'm just going to trim the nozzle a little bit back, about that far, and I'm going to trim it at a 45-degree angle. So just to give us that beveled edge, which makes it easy to run a smooth bead of silicon inside. So here I am inside my new little cropper hopper cubby hole, and I'm about to run a bead of silicon around the inside to seal it up. I'm going to start on the base where the walls join the base of the bin, and then I'm going to run a vertical line up these vertical joints once I've done the base. Where there's a bit of a gap, you can squeeze a bit of extra in, fill it up, and then just run down the lines like so. Going to come back up around the corner, join in like that, around the base to there. Now I'm just going to use my finger just to run around and make sure it's all sealed in. So I'm just going to give it a bit of a lick and just run my finger around the inside. That makes sure that the silicon seals on against both surfaces, like so. Now I'm just going to turn the bin, to stand it up and turn it over and lay it down the other way, so that I can run those vertical joins on the other two sides. So we'll just stand the bin up. Now I've sealed the base to the walls, and I've sealed the vertical joints wall to wall, wall panel to wall panel, but I haven't sealed the wall panel to the crown, to the wall crown. It's not strictly necessary. It doesn't matter as far as watertight capacity goes, the watertightness of the bin. If you wish to seal it up to help prevent the ingress of vermin, insects and so on, you're more than welcome. We use just under 1 cartridge of silicon to run the seals that we did, and we supply 3 cartridges with every cropper hopper, so you're more than welcome to run that seal around the top if you wish. Okay, so we've put our cropper hopper together and we've sealed it inside. We're just going to pop the lid on, which goes over like so, and the little holes that are drilled in the side of the lid pop down like so over those studs that we've installed. And that will ensure that the lid stays on even in the wildest of conditions. You can store the product outside knowing that the contents inside will be dry, safe and ready to use at any time. So that's the cropper hopper. Simpler, safer and cheaper. We believe in good old-fashioned Aussie innovation coupled with new cutting-edge technology, which is what has delivered this product. A product that will not only be easy for you to use, but it will keep you and your team safe and will last for years and years while you use it on and around your farm property.